Small white flower blossoms all around you. The Maybells? A rubber dinghy. It's deflated, broken. Oh, ho, ho. There we have our man. I just want to make sure we don't have anything else. Yeah, I don't think so. Okay. Now, please do not resist. Come with us, bro. Oh, he's just not even gonna. Alright. We have to talk to him first. The deserter. An old man wearing tracksuits, trousers, leans on the frame stock of his rifle. He gathers a big ball of spit in his mouth, then spits it out into the extinguished fire before him. He raises his black eyes, hooded by creased eyelids, to meet yours. Unclouded by cataracts, his eyesight is sharp. Are you the fire guy? You've retained your eyesight? Did you close the blast door? Nice gun you got there. Sir, I need you to put down that gun so we can talk further. We're with the police. I'm with the police. You can keep the gun, but keep it down. Not one move. Sorry for disturbing you. Yeah, no. Nice gun you got there.
It's not nice. It's a piece of shit. But it gets the job done.
Is that a Bell McGraw?
It's a 3-Angong 446.
Southeast Samara made. Exotic. Must be defunct too. No modern rifle manufacturer of that name springs to
A
mind.
Samuran rifle. How did you get hold of one?
It was sent to us by our brothers in the Sinyao commune. Military aid.
He pats the rifle. Wait, so he's a revolutionary? Who's been stuck here for the past 44 years? Stay true to him. He can still make it sing. Did you close the blast door?
I did. And you opened it. How?
I fueled the generator, then used the console.
I should have burned that console down.
How did you know I was coming?
Reactionary rock and roll music.
Oh, yeah.
Playing on the water.
In hindsight, that wasn't a smart move.
Told you we shouldn't play sad FM.
Well, I mean, it's not like we wouldn't have had a little showdown anyway, so. But you didn't say that, Cam. It was not rock and roll, it was sad FM. It was not reactionary, it was cool. Yeah, but you didn't say that, Kim.
I did.
No? We have entered a world where he said you shouldn't. It's the only word. What? It was not reactionary, it was
The
cool.
fascists were right about rock and roll. It is degenerate. Hip gyrating, mental illness music.
You retain your eyesight.
My eyesight? Yes. Helps me see all the shit.
Are you the fire guy?
You what now? I can't hear you.
Did you recently tell two kids to put out their fire? Two twins.
I may have. All sorts of little rats have come sniffing around, trying to give up the position.
The position sounds like a hiding place.
Fire guy. Regressive bourgeoisie henchman. Can't even talk like a grown-up.
The Sinyao commune.
You heard me. It's good now. Like chalk, white from the ball.
His gaze turns inwards. He's right. Almost no one remembers there was a third metastasis of the world revolution in the Safra Empire, extinguished in '06. It's not wiped from the board. I remember it.
They wouldn't like hearing their name in your mouth. Damn dog.
Your weapon has stayed true to you. Mine has stayed true to me too.
Yes, I bet you've killed a lot of people with it. You fascist fuck. Have you come to make me one of them?
It depends on your answers, brother. His grip on the rifle
We have
tightens.
come to ask you questions. Nothing more.
The lieutenant puts his hand on his holster.
If you do not comply, we will take you in. Do you understand?
Another spitball lands in the ashes. That's all the answer he gives. Yeah, sir, I need you to put the gun down so we can talk further. We're with the police. The lieutenant pulls his pistol from the holster.
You are a glorified night watchman. This is a service rifle. I can only lay it down before an enemy commander of corresponding rank.
His elbows rest on the frame stock, calmly for now. But he may still get it in his hands. Looks like he knows the weapon. Erasure of Xin Yao Commune. Okay, but keep the gun down while we talk. Kim? I am an enemy commander of rank. Put it down. Authority. Yeah. Becomes 58. Okay, yeah, let's try it. Yeah. The words, I am an enemy commander, sound cold as iron from your lungs. The old man still hugs his gun.
What rank would that be?
You Lieutenant W. Frater.
A big wheel of the 4th Regiment of the Pederast Army.
Okay, yeah, I see you have a high consideration of us, but
Down with it. It's a walking stick anyway. It's out of bullets.
huh. The old man lays the rifle down carelessly, then stares at it, just lying there, like an amputated limb in the sand. He stares on, his wrinkled mouth moving without a sound, a strange sadness, like a song. What did you say?
The future teaches you to be alone.
The present. The present.
The present to be afraid and cold.
The old man pulls back the hood of his plastic cape and looks up into the sky. It's blue-gray, the same color as the sea. Those words, the future teaches you. Pick up the gun, who are you, what have you been using this for? Yeah, those words.
Real music. Real brilliant kult. That's La Revacholière, not your rock and roll misanthropy. Chanson de soldat of the black and whites.
Marching song. Forget about that for a moment. You need to address that remark first. I'm not a misanthropy. I'm a half-dead police officer who's just doing his job. I know La Revacholière. It's their marching song of the world revolution. Yeah?
There you go. 1 of 3. In Grad, they sang Brave Children, favorites of history. And in Sinyao, it was
Some Samara shit.
some Samaran shit, I guess.
In Xin Yao, they sang Boy with a Sight, Golden Sun. First, it wasn't some Samaritan shit. It was Boy with a Sight.
I fucking know what they sang.
Oh yeah, of
I watched
course.
those little fuckers die in my arms. Little ones came to help us. Got cut to shreds. You don't fucking tell me what they
I
sang.
fucking do if you don't remember. He closes his eyes and exhales to calm himself. His nostrils are still flaring with rage. He brings himself back under his own stewardship, slowly. La Revacholière. I heard that name somewhere else, in a dream.
Everyone has. They named a fucking perfume after it.
No, that's not it. I've talked to her.
Talk to her.
To the city? He raises his bushy brow and looks down from the sky, straight into your bloodshot eye. Yes, in the church. Nothing, we have serious things to talk about. Yes, I get these cold spells.
It's the drugs you're all on. Druggies, whiners, and whores.
Listen, you might be right about the first two, but we've seen none of the third kind, okay? He closes his eyes in disgust. There was something there. When he said, talk to her, he was curious. All around you, the air slowly circulates the islet, carrying little swallows and black-beaked seagulls in its slow drift. They all, every one of them, every bird, mammal, and crustacean. What? Keep their distance. When I said I've talked to her, you were curious.
I've seen kids lose their minds and start talking to the city, asking it to protect them when the shelling gets bad, calling it La Revacholière. Cities can't talk. It's bourgeois idealism. I don't want to talk about this shit anymore.
How does it go then, the song?
How did it go?
He looks at his gun on the ground and shakes his head slowly.
Something about shooting rabbits. I don't know. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. It's gone now.
Then why are you here, bro? He waves erratically, with his hand annoyed that he can't remember. A little tremor passes through him. So if I can shoot rabbits, then I can shoot fascists too. Those are the next lines. Yeah, so if I can shoot rabbits, then I can shoot fascists too.
What are you talking about?
He squints and looks you straight in the eye, two black beads moist from the sea air. He doesn't recognize it. Pick up the gun lying in the sand. His gaze follows your motions. The rifle feels surprisingly light in your hand, frame stocked and patched in place with tape and wire. Still warm from his parched hands, not the metal. The metal is ice cold. This weapon has been modified several times. Inspect it closer. The rifle's in a shabby state, like a crutch that's seen too much travel. Hieroglyphs are embossed into the forearm made of walnut. They say Triangon 4.46, Sin Yao Commune, for Safre, and for all mankind. I know Surays. Kim, I know Surays.
What does it say?
He asks doubtfully, for Safre, and for all mankind.
That's what the little guys told us. Every day at 4 o'clock in the morning, they go on and on about their Safri, their mankind, and Mazov.
Whoops.
Those men were commandos. They weren't shit on a stick like us. They were small and...
He doesn't say more. The thought dissipates on his lips. Look at the butt of the gun. On the butt, you see Vespertine writing, burnt into the wood. Made in Sin Yao. It's as he said, it's a Triangong, made in Sin Yao.
No one said it has to be Belmagrave. We were just guessing.
From ballistics, it could easily have been a Triangong
It
too.
doesn't matter if it was made in Shanti Shanti. All it has to do is use jacketed ammunition.
And it does, yes. This uses jacketed ammunition.
The right type and the right calibre.
Calibre. The lieutenant nods, glancing at the gun. The rifle has been patched and modified several times.
I wonder how old it is.
The old man does not answer. He just stares in front of him. Stow the gun. The old man keeps following your motions with his gaze. His right arm twitches suddenly. Some kind of involuntary response? Something is slightly off with his motorics. Motorics? Probably. This looked very much like the murder weapon. It can be used against him to get a confession. In time. Who are you?
My name is Josef Lilianovich Dross, Political Commissar of the 114th Anti-Aircraft Division of the 4th Army of the Commune of Revachol. I am a deserter, a partisan, and a prisoner of war. This is my termless surrender.
Yeah, you could have surrendered 2 weeks ago before shooting a guy in the head. His eyes turned to the reeds again, dead and dull.
The commune of Revachol? Do you mean the ICM? Your holdover from the...
From the Insular Indian Citizens Militia, the army of the revolution. I was recruited in Jamrock in '07, trained in the École de Contrôle Orient, and consigned to emergency defense duties in '08. I left my unit on the eve of the landing. When I returned here on May 14th, the commune had fallen. Still armed and ideologically trained, I wrote a criticism of myself and resumed partisan duties.
51 minus 8, 43. You've been on this island for 43 years.
No. I've been on other islands, too. I was in Resurrection until they turned it into a spa in 18. Then I was on E48, a nameless sound, until the sea washed over it. Then I came back here. That was 22
No, wow.
years ago.
Still, again, you've been hiding here for 43 years.
43 years and 10 months.
That's insane. That's steadfast. No, that's insane.
It's not how a human being should live. But I had to. I couldn't just forget. I couldn't just forget what I saw.
What do you mean? The other guys did.
What have you been doing during all this time?
Hiding, fishing, waiting.
He looks across the water. Where the afternoon grows late, on Rue de Saint-Guilain, people walk home. Street lights will soon be lit. Bro, it's 1 p.m. Further inland, the streets are alive with workers, men, women, children, street hawks and migrant laborers. The temperature is steady. Altocumulus clouds form above Precinct 41.
Always waiting.
The old man turns his eyes from the shore and back to you. For what?
For her to return.
Her who?
Girl child. Revolution.
What? I come from there. I can assure you that is not what the people are planning. I've been there. The city is a tinderbox. It may still happen. I've seen it. Capital is too powerful. The rich are very well organized. Oh, you only have 4% and you can't charge the phone? Ah, that sucks, man. Well, in case your phone dies before we finish, good night, I guess. Women will always betray you. Why? Yeah, I can assure that this is not what the people are planning.
I am not a fool. I know. The material base for an uprising has eroded. The working class has
Thanks, man.
betrayed mankind. The historic opportunity for a revolution has passed. It will not come back anymore.
Okay, so
However
why are
hard I
you still
try,
here? Just to
whatever
suffer?
I do.
You said you deserted your unit.
I was just 16 years old. 15 when I volunteered. I had a lapse of faith. And of courage, too.
But see, this makes no freaking sense. He deserted before the big mission, the big fight. Then they lost. And then he was like, no, I have to be faithful to the cause. Why? Lapse of faith.
You could say I misunderstood the historic role of the proletariat and thought Mazovian socioeconomics were fallible. For a second, I doubted the irreducible laws of historic materialism. A second is all it took
For what?
for reaction to take hold.
What's reaction?
Petty bourgeois terror. It's in all men.
It wasn't reaction, you were just afraid.
It's the same thing. You haven't seen it. Not really. Not naked. It's impossible not to be afraid.
It remains unclear what it is. He makes leaps he doesn't expect you to follow.
And this was when?
The lieutenant instinctively looks to his notebook but does not take it out. He is still not convinced of his safety. You should not be either.
May the 13th, 08, 44 years ago. The horizon was black with coalition airships. Their petroleum rose to the sky and it looked like it formed the clouds.
Huh.
Storm clouds. When they started shelling, it was dark magic.
Dark magic.
The combined might of international capital. All at once, All the greed and terror in the world tore into Revachol. It lifted streets from the ground and turned houses into ghosts.
Yeah,
We were in the flak tower,
we saw some of it. He gestures toward it.
huddled on the floor. The artillery was 80 kilometers away in Ozon, but I knew the commune would fall. We would all be turned into ash. So I said I was going to the map room.
He looks east. A terrible shame still within him. The lobes of his ears are red with it. The shame and smallness of what he became. You didn't go to the map room.
No. I climbed the chain link across the water and hid inland, in the bunkers there, like the weakest of the weak. A mouse.
Yeah, but see,
Ordnance all night,
regretting
and
it
the sound of the
after
roaches in the morning,
they've been defeated
whirring.
has no purpose whatsoever. It has no meaning. Why are you still here, bro?
What was that? Airships. I climbed out into hell. The landing was complete. The chain was submerged. I had to swim back. The fortress was half submerged too. Shattered. They'd all drowned in the lower levels, or got torn to shreds above. The anti-aircraft gun had malfunctioned. So had I. I left them without ideological direction. It was real. I'd seen it. I'd seen it in reality.
A human can be perfect only if the humanity is destroyed. And the worst in it is it's true. But like, are you referring to something he's saying, or is this like a random statement? Seen what?
The mask of humanity.
Oh, okay.
from capital. It has to take it off to kill everyone, everything you love. All the hope and tenderness in the world. It has to take it off just for 1 second to do the deed.
3%.
Then you see,
Ouch.
as it strangles and beats your friends to death. The sweetest, most courageous people in the world. You see the fear and power in its eyes. Then you know
What?
that the bourgeois are not human.
You've lost your mind. I've always suspected the same. That's definitely enough for now. Say nothing, let him finish. Yeah.
I had to. I had to fight it. I had to never stop.
The old man falls silent. His black eyes keep piercing your skin as he looks to some great distance behind you, shaking his head slowly, retreating from it. What is this place, this island?
It's not an island, Dwight. It's a defensive fortification of the commune of Revachol.
Droit?
And I am its last.
Oh, what does that mean?
Defender.
What was it used for?
The congenitally deformed King Philip II built it to restrict access to the Bay of Revachol. We captured it in '02, retrofitted the fort with an AA gun to defend against an airborne landing. Against
Yeah, I can see how
the
that turned out.
You mean the landing, retaking of Ravachol?
coalition military called it Operation Deathblow. I later found out on the radio they called it Deathblow. You're one of them. Tell me, who speaks like that? We had 50 million people on Caillou alone.
First, I'm not one of them. Coalition military. Someone who's come to end this madness. Murderers, I know what you mean. Yeah, first, I'm not one of them.
Sure you are. You're RCM. Answer me. Who calls an operation against 50 million people Deathblow?
Murderers, I know what you mean.
You don't know. You haven't seen it. Iblis.
Iblis?
The black-eyed angel.
He nods. Shaitan Ahura, the darkened one.
How have you survived all this time?
How does anyone survive? I steal.
Now hold on there.
That's a choice. You could have become self-employed, create the system.
You're insane.
Yeah, I knew that
Everyone
would
steals.
piss him off.
Vegetables, supplies. It's the life of a dog.
He coughs once more, then puts his hand on his belly.
How is your health, Mr. Dross?
I've been throwing up blood since winter. Red, like beetroot. Been passing it in stool, too.
Pretty healthy. He does seem frail, gaunt for his age. More like 75 than 65. Trouble putting on weight could mean cancer.
The RCM can provide medical services. You need to be looked over.
I need to die. You don't have medical facilities. You have guns. That's all they give you. Toy guns.
We have Dramamine and other opioid-based painkillers. You must be in pain.
I have been running out of that stuff.
A light goes on in his eyes. He smacks his lips dry. His dry lips.
This is a serious situation. You need to be looked over, and we can do it.
There's nothing to look over. The triage is in, and it's black. Administer morphine. Moribund.
How have you coped, mentally?
I haven't. I have holes in my brain. Years missing. Others filled with pain only. A decade of...
His eyes roll into his skull and back.
I don't even know what. Inferno?
Would you say it was Disco Inferno? I also live in hell. I also have holes in my brain.
You notice the lieutenant is about to say something.
I would imagine it gets tremendously difficult, mentally, to live in isolation.
Traitors. It's better alone. I watch the people of this city turn the lights back on. More and more each year. Ruins, glimmering in the dark, like a fucking merry-go-round. It's disgusting.
He looks down at his shoes, his face parched from the sun and the wind. There's a wince of pain in there somewhere.
How have you concealed yourself all these years?
It was hard in the tens. I didn't have partisan training. They were searching for stragglers, those bloodhounds. Floodlights on the water at night.
There were posters, campaigns.
We communards still hoped, and they needed to snuff that hope out. The East capitulated. Martinez and Cold City were turned to dust. But Jamrock, Forburg, even Coron, and Boogie Street, of course. Those fucking kips had Marsov coursing through their veins.
Huh.
And others too. Some cordons of Revachol was still fighting. There were cells. I tried to contact them. Soon they all went silent. The frequency's dead.
How did you get between here and the mainland?
At night, I used a dinghy. I only went after dark then. When I got to the city, I stayed underground. Patrols, you lot, the commons too. They'd started snitching.
In the city, you move underground?
From bunker to bunker. Not anymore. No one cares now.
Huh.
I don't even have to hide.
I mean, they
think
don't
I'm
know who you
another
are, so...
Social vagrant.
Yeah.
I could walk straight into that town if I wanted. I just...
He falls silent, his gaze fixed on the shacks huddled together across the water.
Why don't you just walk there?
I don't want to. They're all traitors. Pigs, rabbits, and dogs. Men without ideals are only animals.
The weapons cache in their Senghe's Lane 22B. In the basement. Have you been there?
So you finally found it. There must have been a small squadron's worth of arms in there. Elmer Graves, right?
They were damaged beyond use.
I know.
So you've been there?
Sleeping. Some nights. Ammo scrounging on others. Those McGraves were shit, even before they corroded.
Huh.
Some had bullets in the chamber, however.
You feel the dots connecting. Little dot on the map. He's walked across.
There's a small bunker under the Feld building. Have you stayed there?
The propaganda bunker. I used to, but not anymore.
Propaganda bunker?
They stored leaflets there.
Yeah, we saw 'em.
Too. Made broadcasts, I think. Propaganda officers. I buried them with their leaflets. They killed themselves. 2 young boys.
Oh, killed themselves.
A lot of our boys did. I spent some winters there. Never liked it. Kept thinking of them. No need to go underground anymore. It's better in the ruins, on the ground.
One more question. Do you smoke Tio Materia cigarettes?
I do.
Ever smoked them on the mainland?
They're good. Plenty of tar. I like that boy on the pack, too. Reminds me of the last century.
Tell me another thing. You said this is your termless surrender.
You're with the RCM. The coalition-appointed mob that enforces bourgeois morals in Revachol. The so-called Lieutenant W. Freighter.
We're not coalition appointed. We just try to help people. That's right, we're with the good guys. We enforce the law. We keep the animals from killing each other. I know what it looks like, but I have secret plans to turn the RCM into a Mazovian revolutionary unit. Let's leave it at that. No, we're not coalition appointed. We just try to help people.
You're the RCM. You represent the Moralist International. The enemies of humanity.
Do you want me to call them?
I represent their
I could introduce you to them.
Parti Communiste d'Insolande. Take me to them as a prisoner of war. I have relinquished my weapon.
Yeah, I
can
could.
no longer serve. No superiors can relieve me of my
Hey.
duty. You bulldoze them all to a mass grave for trying to free humanity.
Did you find a charger? His hand shakes and he breaks into a coughing fit. A spray of blood from his mouth on the black charcoal in the fire pit. René, the royalist on the coast, said,
The communards signed the Revacholian instrument of surrender.
Liberal reactionaries signed that instrument. Traitors who should have been burned alive. I answer to the Communist Party.
Is that part of why you've been here all this time? Because the party didn't surrender?
He just wipes the blood from his chin.
Whoa. Honorable. That's insane.
I mean... That's insane.
You're insane. Radio shows, speed racing, sporting goods. None of it is real.
Okay. What do I care? It's not like I'm into those things.
So you're a communist soldier from the communist army.
No, I am not a soldier. I am an ideological officer. I belong to the party, not the army.
But you said you were trained and assigned to the defense corps.
Trained in historical materialism, then assigned as a political commissar by the party. These things used to mean something.
Wait, what does a political commissar do?
The old man does not answer. He tilts his silver head and looks at the reeds. You see a small tremor pass through his legs.
His job was to assure the army answers to civilian control and follows the ideology of the commune.
Huh.
Scientific communism. A commissaire politique is a night philosopher of the revolution, a future human.
Awakened from shutdown by the promise of ideology.
That means you're a trained communist, right?
He nods slowly, then another tremor.
I'm a moralist.
Yeah, I really don't want to say that in front of this dude.
I'm a revolutionary too. Today, the real revolutionizing is done by entrepreneurs.
I'm not really into politics myself. I mean, honestly, he still wouldn't sympathize with us. So I'm actually gonna say I'm a moralist.
No, you're not. You're part of the meat shield. The human shield that surrounds the fascists while they kill and rape. That's what you are.
Oh, someone's making you mad? Why?
Detective, we have not come here to discuss ideology.
He then turns to the old
We
man.
have come to ask questions regarding a murder investigation.
Ah, that sucks, man. But anyway, yeah, how are you still here? Did you find a charger for your phone? The old man spits into the fire pit. He does not say anything more. A jitter passes his lower body. There's definitely something off with his body. Something more than just metabolism, or even cancer.
I have another serious question for you.
There's nothing serious.
Oh, still at
in this
3%.
world.
Okay.
It's a farce.
What have you been using this gun for?
I've used it for killing people.
Killing people?
But why, though?
It's a gun. That's what they're for. You want a moralist euphemism? Defending your family and your property.
Oh,
I haven't done that.
okay, I see.
I've used it to kill people.
Interesting. During or after the war?
Yeah, that sucks.
There is no after the war. Class war is never over.
So, he's continued killing after hostilities ended. Okay. This is it. You can feel it, like battery acid on the tip of your tongue. Something you haven't felt in a while, but what? This is what you'll live for. This is the shit. Oh, now it's 2%. Fudge. The great serotonin jackpot. The solution to what? Going straight. No euphemism. He doesn't like those. No. Be careful now. Slow and steady does it. Make him repeat it first. Don't mess this up. Remember, he wants to tell you. Get personal.
So you're saying you killed people after active fighting stopped? Did you use that gun to shoot and kill a colonel of the security contractor, Cornell? I know you want to tell me. Have you killed anyone with that gun in the last week or two? Wait, so which one do I say then?
Nothing comes to you. No. His black eyes look at you. And in them, a chill, like electricity running up your spine, crawling into your skull. What? All is not as it seems.
Detective.
The lieutenant turns to you with well-disguised impatience.
I know you want to tell me. Have you killed anyone with that gun in the last week or two?
I don't want to tell you anything, you grotesque murderer.
And why did you think that was a good idea? Don't listen to me. I'm wrong all the time. I mean, suggestion. Don't mess this up. He wants to tell you. Oh, so suggestion wasn't ironic. It was actually saying, yeah, I'm wrong all the time. Okay.
Did you use that gun to shoot and kill a colonel of the security contractor, Cornell?
The who now?
He leans in and cups his ears. He heard you. He just wants to hear you say it again. This is dramatic flair on his part. Right choice. We're in. Do it, sire.
The corpse in ceramic armor, hanging behind the whirling in rags. Did you shoot him? The fascist death squad who took a bullet in the mouth on the night of March the 4th. His name was Ellis Courtenaire. He was part of the security detail here in Martinez. A beautiful, strong man, sent here by the Honorable Private Military Company Cornell. You know who I mean.
Yeah, I guess the fascist death squad.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
That one. Ugly piece of work, that boy.
Did you kill him?
The lieutenant takes a sudden step toward him.
I am a son of a welder and an officer of the Commune of Revachol. I do not collaborate with murderers and pederasts of the liberal regime.
Exhaust him with proof. Pile it all on him. Get a confession. The gun, the murder weapon, is the perfect opener. The scent of blood in the air. But what else? There was something you can't remember. Something about the tracks? Suddenly, all those tracks are so confusing. Go with something else first.
I don't need your cooperation. I've got this. We've done the ballistics. The shot came from this island. You're a communist. I talked to the dead man. He told me communism killed him. Come on, what am I forgetting? Okay, let's back off. Yeah, no, I don't need your cooperation. I've got this.
Not a lot of guns around that use military-grade ammunition, are there?
It's a real gun. Not like your little musketeer pistol. I've seen you prance around with that. Jumping hoops for the liberals. You look like imbeciles. Why don't you ask them to give you real weapons? Going against automatic rifles with these toy guns. Of course you got those boys killed.
Okay, so he saw that too. He would have a good view of the tribunal from here. It's not just empty boasting.
We saved a lot of them. Alain, and that musician. We handled it. Nah, stop changing the subject. We have the murder weapon.
You know what? You're right. I'm convinced this made the shot. Should we call it?
The lieutenant looks at the weapon demonstratively. Dramatically ask,
You think we have the murder weapon?
4.46 jacketed ammunition, modified for range. We have it. This is it.
I'm calling it. We have the murder weapon.
Good.
The lieutenant takes out his notebook and draws a single line.
This feels good, doesn't it? Tell
Yep.
things up like this. When you have the murder weapon, you have the killer.
Murder.
The old man does not say more. He just glances into the reeds and then twitches once more.
We've done the ballistics. The shot came from this island.
I saw you poking around there, looking for evidence. You're damn diligent when it comes to dead fashions.
I'm damn diligent when it comes
You
to
like the
anything. Just ask Kim. I've been diligent about fake imaginary monsters.
You had direct visibility. There are embrasures in the concrete, specifically meant for a top follower to use. And you had a long-range rifle in your possession.
The lieutenant softens his voice.
You've been here a long time, Mr. Dras. Too long. You clearly need medical aid.
I'm ready to die. I've done my part.
He's practically admitting to it that fascist had done his part.
You said fascist. You're admitting you killed him. It's the best uninterrupted line of sight into that window in all of modern days.
You're sad for your fascia brother, aren't you? One twig got broken. Now the others are sad.
He waves his hand. There's a twitch. Then one in his right eye.
You're a communist. I talked to the dead man. He told me communism killed him.
Stupid twat.
He scoffs. The lieutenant looks at you with worry in his eyes.
Yes, I held a seance with his soul. It has shown me the way, and the way leads to you. You fucked with the wrong police officer. I have paranatural abilities. It was intuition. Had he spoken, he would have said communism killed him.
Intuition is an aberrant psychologism. It reeks
My
of
God,
crypto
I'm gonna
fascism.
shoot this guy myself.
Parasite class
Everything I
uses
say
intuition to justify their
becomes
rank in life.
fascist in his mind.
It's all just palmistry and
I've gotta start talking about communism, so you'll say that communism is fascist, and then shut the fuck up.
Your brain is rotting from the radio waves.
He looks at the air, then turns to the lieutenant. He does not answer the provocation. It does not look like he thinks this approach worked. But still, somehow, you knew it was a communist.
How? Is this the miracle?
No, the miracle is still waiting. This is the darkness.
But aren't I way out in the west.
You are. Soon it will happen.
How?
Perhaps you suspected it before you took the case. The vision was you remembering that.
But this did nothing.
Was it supposed to?
Actually, I'm beginning to think he's right. Now, I will look deeper then.
The inland sea is dark, vast, and on the surface, meaningless. Turn back to him.
Standing there, brain festering.
Come on, what am I forgetting?
Wait, here it comes. The goddamn Maybells. The dried Maybells on Glacia's roof.
Oh, yes.
There were Maybells in the grass when you got here. The revolutionary symbols from the war. Stop hitting yourself, I got it. Wait, don't forget the footprints. The diagonal print in the dust is in the secret space behind Glacia's bedroom. Now they're gonna come up.
Of course. Thank you, Head. Thank you.
You got it. Remember, the boot prints were like no modern soul. Maybe don't beat yourself anymore, though. You're not immortal.
There were Maybells behind the victim's body. Window, sorry.
The whole island is turning white with them. So many this year, too. The spring is coming. No, it's already here. Wash the filth away.
I haven't seen these flowers anywhere else in Martinez. Only here.
They blossom on the islets before. We fertilize them with our blood. Resurrection was snow white in May, before they ruined it.
South, the Bay of Martinez is dotted with little freckles of islets, turning green with white flowers in white snow.
The coast, too, before they piled their containers on top of it, filled with broken, useless trash for fat-fingered bourgeois children to play with.
You must get around a lot to stay undetected all these years. Do you know any secret
Huh.
paths? Pinball workshops?
I may.
A curious tremor passes his face.
A young woman called Glacier. Ring any bells? These dried flowers were behind her window.
Glacier.
He knows her, but he hadn't heard the name.
Yes, Glacier. You hadn't heard her name, had you?
My ears don't reach the city.
You know her, right? She had intimate relations with the victim, the mercenary.
With the victim.
He turns his sight from the whitening field of flowers and falls silent. Then the muscles in his jaw twitch, a spasm. There is a small tremble, looks like a smile, a crooked smile. Yet isn't quite voluntary. He's about to burst. Don't leave any loose ends. Get him on everything.
I wonder what brand of boots you're wearing.
Everything is brands with you individualists. Who cares what brand my shoes are? Sansa. Some shit.
Show me
Okay.
the souls, please, Mr. Doras.
Fucking imbecile.
Oh, 1%. Hold on, man. We might be able to arrest him before your phone dies. The old man stretches out his leg. A black and white spiral pattern covers the sole of the worn-out old running shoe on his feet. The maker is called Sanseric. You see their V-shaped logo, but can't make out the size. These are not the usual horizontal patterned soles you saw in the dust on the floor of the hidden room. They do, however, seem to be about the same
The
size.
size fits, but not the sole.
The lieutenant comes to the same conclusion.
Wait, maybe it's simpler than that.
Sire, he doesn't have to be wearing them right now.
People change shoes. It doesn't mean you weren't there, near the room the victim died in, sneaking around.
Racking those brains, are you? Desperate to report something back to your masters? They must have really loved that dead fuck.
The lieutenant gives you a quick sideways glance and nods to acknowledge. The prints were his. You can see it in those eyes. He can't keep them from flickering, looking for something. The old man stares at his own prints in the ash around the fire. Silence suddenly. Some strange process within him. A gush of wind. Seagulls in the distance.
You know who he was. A coalition-trained murderer. Armored and armed. He wasn't human. The blunt end of a hammer. Dripping with blood.
He was a rapist. I'm not saying he didn't deserve it. He was a killer, but he was still under the protection of the law. He was a soldier too. He was a man.
I mean, yeah, he doesn't really care about this. Either number 2 or number 3. Number 2, yeah.
Beating us to the ground. Moaning with joy. You hounds get so thorough when a company-trained killer dies. I haven't seen you on this coast for 40 years. You know, maybe I should have killed one sooner. Got your attention. Now you stop beating druggies and prostitutes in your basement. Now you come to investigate. Not when they die by the hundreds.
I mean, man, if you're talking about the war, there was nothing we could have done back then. If you're talking about the state of the city right now, you can take a look at me and Kim's, like, what do you call, records. We've been solving a lot of cases, okay? They couldn't have all been high profile. This is it. Shot him. Shot him. Say shot him, not killed him.
So you shot him.
Oh, the inhumanity. One paramilitary less in Revachol.
You can almost see him squeeze a tear out of his eye. His fists begin to tremble from the anger. The lieutenant raises his right arm to hush you, while the lieutenant listens, holding his breath. Just nod.
I had them in my sights. Both of them. Him and the whore. I was breathing with them, in phase, and I pulled the trigger and flew on the air until I landed in his mouth.
He begins to smile.
I didn't think I had a shot like that in me anymore. I did. I saw him kneel there with his mouth full of death, and that stupid look on his face. And his dick still in her.
Okay. Then what?
Nothing. I went to sleep. Next morning there were Maybells everywhere. The world was white, or what's left of it anyway. My last spring here. I knew the fascists would come to avenge their own, and so they did.
Mr. Dross, are you aware you're confessing to murder?
The lieutenant asks after a second of silence.
Yes.
Single word is all he
When
gives.
you were looking at Dan, the victim and a young woman, having sex, through the scope of your rifle that night, before you shot him?
The lieutenant takes out his notebook slowly, very slowly. The old man nods.
Why?
Because that's what they were doing.
He shrugs, then smacks his lips. The motive! This is where the motive is going to come from.
I don't understand. Do you, detective? I don't understand this part.
Why were you looking at them that night?
I'm always looking.
He cocks his head to the side, then turns his eyes to the city. Another tremor passes his right side, lower in
Are
intensity.
you always looking through the scope of a rifle? I'm just trying to understand.
A rifle scope has the best magnification.
Not sure about that. And you can't have binocular vision.
And if you don't like it?
You pull the trigger.
Yes. Think of it as a form of critique.
Yeah, that's all well and good, but like, have you not shot anyone else in the city? Like, he's been here for 44 years. You would assume that this wasn't the first thing he didn't like. He will not stop now. These dialectical materialist types never do. Exploit it. You got him going. Connect every little piece now. Wrap this up like a gift.
What specifically did you not like about what you saw the night of the murder?
Them. Fucking. I didn't like that.
So you were jealous?
Jealousy is a reactionary concept. I didn't like the Reaver enjoying himself, drugged out, soothed in the arms
Okay,
of
so
a
he was
ghost.
jealous.
I wanted him to die so he could not enjoy life anymore.
Yeah, that's jealousy, alright. And I mean, you know, it's such a toxic feeling because it makes you think like that. Like, I want him not to enjoy these things instead of being like, I want to enjoy those too, which would be a more positive attitude.
And I wanted to see his head explode. That too. She should know better than to hold a child murderer between her thighs. I knew he'd be there for one more second. Writhing. That's all it takes for the bullet to reach his head. Now that I think of it, I wasn't aiming for his mouth. I wanted his brains to spill out on her. But you can't have everything.
I guess not. The caliber of bullet he used does not do that kind of damage.
How long had you been watching her?
Since she came to Martinez, I saw her sneaking in the reeds early in the morning, behind the Fell building. It was dark, still winter. She didn't have her skimpy outfit on then, just a spot in the night, moving.
Past the Fell building on a ghost. What was she doing there?
Well, she arrived there, right?
Hiding something in the water.
Yeah.
She had a fag after she'd done it. I was up in the ruins there. She couldn't see me, but I could see her, smoking. She was nervous, but not scared.
What do you think she hid there?
Her passport and tickets to Villiers.
Oh, he
there
took them.
to
Oops, sorry. In the free state of Seminine, hidden away at the edge of the earth, near the Pale.
This is the hidden boy she told us about. You looked into it.
After she was gone.
Did you keep what was in it? When we found the submersible, it was empty.
No. Why would I do that? I didn't need tickets to Villiers. I'd put them back. If I wanted to extort someone, I'd do better.
This implies that he's thought about extorting her. Also, a little inconsistency here. He was surprised to hear her name Clausia before. Would he not have seen it on the documents?
Are you sure? We checked the submersible. There was nothing there. You saw her name on the passport, but before, when I said her name is Clausia, you didn't seem to recognize it.
You didn't say Clausia in there.
He shakes his head. Well then, are you sure?
Why would I need that trash? I'm not going to Villiers.
A strange confusion comes over him from time to time. Some kind of aberration of the nervous system?
What did it say her name was in the passport?
It was something. I don't remember. It was dark that morning. I only remember her face on the photo.
Moving on, did you continue watching her after this?
I did. She had a face like an archipelago, with those birthmarks, and a body hard and lean and bruised all over, black and yellow. I could see she's taken a beating. I could see who she was, too. A spook, on the run. Revachol's the cloaca of capital now. All the bagmen and arms dealers end up here to do drugs and have sex like animals.
Okay, so why did those two in particular piss you off?
You could tell she was a spook from the documents?
She had different color hair on the photo, and glasses. Forged. Some sordid bourgeois affair. I've heard about this kind of thing on the radio.
He's setting it up for you. The bruises, you can't make that out in a scope.
And you could see her bruises through the scope of a rifle.
You can't see bruises through a scope. It's just a blur.
How does he know about those minute details about her body?
It quickly comes to you.
The bruises on her body, any chance you've seen them through a hole in the wall?
Oh, yes. Cutting those drugs of hers into little lines with a knife. Masturbating
Did you make that hole?
with a clip point knife.
Ever see her through a window on a roof?
Like that, too. Yes. Bending like a bow against the glass.
You've been through the secret route behind the whirling in rags. Those were your footprints there. You just changed your shoes.
I've been through all of Martinez. Every nook and cranny.
And that too.
Yes, that too. The things they did in that little room. What she'd do to feel good. Funny the way light works. You turn it on inside, and it gets so dark out, you can't see a man looking in.
Huh.
I learned that in the 20s, when they were still hunting me. I've seen people do some shit, but
He keeps shaking his head. Those two took the cake. You hear the familiar scribble of the lieutenant's pen, a quick glance at
How
you.
did you get in there? The hidden pinball workshop.
I can just walk in there now after a good wash. I told you, they think I'm an antisocial. Closing hour is a good time. The kitchen's empty.
You had to open the steel door in the kitchen?
Yeah, how? Do you have the
Got
key?
that open a long time ago. Some bourgeois game merchant lived there. I don't know, 15 years ago. He left spare keys all over, and I took one. Then I saw her turn the light on one night in my scope.
He points toward the whirling in rags.
Did you have feelings for that woman?
There's nothing to hold on to. Only this. It's not enough.
The coals of his eyes glisten suddenly, like stones dripping with water. Is he crying?
Man needs to feel something else. In this fight, it helps if you have your eye on something there. It's weakness, I know.
There have been others.
Yes, over the years. It's not unproletarian to feel something.
Was that why you left the dried flowers behind her window?
No.
He starts to shake his head again, a sunflower on a withered stalk.
Why then?
I don't really know. I was there one night and she was crying, like a child, in the corner of our room on the floor, like she does sometimes.
When was this?
The day after I killed him.
And you brought her May bells.
Yes. I don't know why I do the things I do anymore.
You wanted to console her.
You wanted to manipulate her. Console, I think.
Maybe. I told you, I have holes in my brain now. I wouldn't just sit here waiting for you. If you came 10 years ago, I would have killed you.
Oh, yes, I'm sure. He wipes his eye. In the silence, the lieutenant draws a line in his notes, then nods at you once more.
So in conclusion, it wasn't about him. It was about her.
Her.
He repeats, staring at the ashes, then the reeds. There's a twitch in the corner of his eye. The lieutenant nods at you in acknowledgement.
Where is she? That Classier. I haven't seen her there for days.
She got away. We don't know where she is. She got away, but she let us here first. She figured out someone was watching her from the sea fort. We arrested her. I'm not at liberty to say.
Yeah, she got away, but she let us here.
Gone. I knew it. She kept staring into the scope this last week at the island, like she knew. She'd look at night, crying or smoking on the roof, staring right into me. It doesn't matter.
Midtown, across the Bay of Ravachol, snow falls on 40-story towers. Above them, Lausanne Central Aerodrome, a cocoon suspended in a snowy sky by a web of suspension wiring, encircled by a hybrid aircraft. Look north. On the platform, a young woman is withdrawing from amphetamines, barbiturates, and alcohol. Yet still she smiles among the crowd, among the great ghosts of the city she's leaving, for another, far south. Smaller, distant, hidden, not like the great chandelier she sees sparkle in the spring air below her. Streets and towers, tenements and water, and across it a dark strip of ruins, barely visible, if she didn't squint her eyes. He knew she knows. She was looking at the island, figuring it out, day by day, cigarette by
We
cigarette.
could get more. We've got him talking.
Who knows what he's seen and done over the years? Enough. Take him in. Bend his arm behind his back and end this.
Been looking at anything else you haven't liked?
A tragic comedy. Druggies, prostitutes, and rentiers.
A strange little engine seems to fire up in him again. It straightens his back. The familiar put of hatred.
More specifically,
Specifically, the whole city is a charnel house. Stripped clean and draped in neon. But Martinez is the worst.
how come?
Because of the racists. Everyone is a racist in Martinez. It's their favorite thing to do.
Just
in
ask the
whole
lorry
world.
driver.
Listening to race-themed radio shows.
Or
In the ruins.
what was his
They're
name?
lost.
Gary's assistant?
Pumped full of steroids and Radio Revachol 92. Race this, race that. It's all sanctioned by that Social Democratic Union and the farce of a Social Democrat who runs it.
Mr. Clare.
Yes, the fly larva in his
Hey, yeah, you could have killed
He
him.
let some nihilistic advertising yuppies erect a statue of Philippe III, a syphilitic murderer, on the town square, to spit on the working class.
Anything more?
Not since the serfs of ancient Pericarnassus has history produced a more inert social class than the Martinez proletariat. The rest of Revachol at least pretends to rebuild. These people still live in ruins, in tents, like animals, like those boom boom morons
Boom
on
boom
the ice.
morons.
A pity they didn't drown in that tent of theirs.
He keeps shaking his head with sorrow for the side he missed.
That all?
The worst of them is the blood-drenched Sucrion on her yacht, licking her lips. The old whore's gone now. Her gun-toting porcelain men are dead. So, actually, no. The worst is that old cop parading around in his uniform, throwing balls.
Isn't he dead?
It's not enough that the racists and liberals are dancing on our graves. The old loyalist ghouls still parade the ruins too. Every morning he's there, while the parasites he fought to protect are off in Ozon, or Koyamoran, or some other island they built their palaces on, feeding on drugs and having sex with their own children.
Say nothing.
That's all the rich really want. Sex with their own children. Throughout
Okay,
history,
that's
even the royal
simplifying it a
bloodline of
bit.
the suzerain, it's all just an excuse for them to have sordid sex. At least that old cunt Frisell is now dead.
Now, I have some questions about this.
We did good when we pushed him under the horse car. Until, in the 30s, those disco whores.
He breathes in his breath, heavy with hatred. You cannot make out a single word. There was something about a statue and nihilistic advertising agency people might be worth investigating. And the Sucreant on her yacht. Joyce? Probably.
Disco horse?
Whores.
My god, that's awful. Where? Where can I find them? Where can I find those disco whores so that I can arrest them?
Horse is all he says. Even that word has to be pushed through his teeth with great force. The rage seethes too hard.
There was something about the statue on the roundabout, and syphilis.
Syphilis is a disease Philippe III contracted in a whorehouse. The statue is an abomination.
Abomination.
The bacteria entered his brain and made him squander trillions on sparkling wine, cocainum, and monuments of himself. His son, Philip IV, the insane, contracted syphilis in the womb.
He breathes in with a wheeze of hatred. That is technically possible, although Philip III was not actually syphilitic. He was just mad.
And he still went on to govern Revachol for 25 years. We lost 2 million lives toppling that mode of government. And those grotesque statues, too. Hundreds of them.
But it's still there.
What a keen remark. Yes, it is, isn't it? It's still there. Do you know why?
Because you forgot to take it down? Because the king is holy and his statues are indestructible.
Because the king is holy and his statues are indestructible, but mean it ironically.
Because cynical advertising yuppies erected a deconstructed version of it.
Yeah, that is the actual reason, right?
That's right. Some advertising cockroaches erected a cynical deconstruction of it. We tore it down with honest working-class plastic explosives. And there it is again.
He shakes his head in disgust.
Art is a bourgeois establishment. It's an affront to humanity. Every gallery should be bulldozed, and the artists should all be given 30 years of hard labor.
Oh, harsh, man. Wait, the bullet hole in Philip's heart. The statue had been shot. That was him. It had to be. He's already proven capable of taking a far more complicated shot from here.
It was you. You shot the statue. There was a bullet hole in his heart.
I did. A needless, sentimental gesture. I should have spared the bullet for a deformed monster of liberal capitalism. Shameful, really.
Yes, shameful. So many others to punish over the years. Isn't that right,
Huh.
detective?
That's it for the statue then. Tell me, Mr.
The
Dross.
fat union man let them put it there. Corrupt as he is. Probably got a fat check for it too. Shared with the law.
He keeps having opinions about the union's leadership.
You mentioned the union is social democratic and Mr. Clare a farce of a social democrat.
Another hideous disappointment. Unions are the real enemy. The true enemy of the proletariat. Placating the masses.
Disappointment, so personal. He displays a familiarity with the union's top brass.
Who's a disappointment? Everard Clare.
That deformed toad? I wouldn't expect him to wipe his own ass.
Yeah, I don't think he can reach
I
it.
mean, the brains of the operation. The smart one.
Edgar.
You mean Edgar, Everard's brother?
He talks a big game about uprising and social base. They must have sent the smart one to some university in Le Jardin, where it's alienation this and hegemony that.
You've talked to Edgar.
First against the wall with him.
He stopped poking at the ash now, just shakes his
The
head.
Clares wouldn't miss a man hidden in their own backyard. Not all this time. Nothing happens in Martinez without them knowing.
Of course, maybe the Clares asked him to.
Have you approached them?
I haven't approached anyone. I've hid. It was Edgar who came to me.
How did he know you were here?
He didn't just stumble in like an oaf. He figured it out. Some kids told him about a monster on the island. I told you, he has brains.
He points to the path leading to the tower.
Stepped right off the boat and walked down where you came. I even kept the door open for him. Thought he was a man of the left. Wouldn't rat me out. I was right about one of those things.
When was this?
20 years ago. Neither of them could walk now, could they? They were less fat then.
That's around the time the Clares came to power.
What did you talk about?
Edgar did the talking. Paid his respects like I were a fossil in a uniform. Offered platitudes about the struggle. Flaunted his pink degree. Even quoted Mazel. Never trust a social democrat who quotes Marzoff. Oh, and charity too. They love their charity. Offered me blankets and social housing. I still have the gas cooker he brought.
And he let you be here.
Let me be here. The ZOC is an unlawful successor of the Commune of Revachol. We took this fortification from the Loyalists. Even the Clares understand this.
They let him be here. Understanding was a courtesy. But why such a courtesy?
Mr. Dross, did you kill the Cornell mercenary for the Clares to incite a riot?
You know why I killed that fucker, Dwat. As to Edgar, I'm not doing anything for that swine again.
Again? What have you done for Edgar before?
Tried teaching him some Marzovian socioeconomics. They didn't stick. We parted ways.
Okay, he didn't do the hangman for them, but he's insinuating something.
There's more here. You can feel it.
He was not outright lying, but almost. He shot the statue, talked to Everett. This is a red shack. What was the deal between him and Edgar? The connection comes to you like a splash of cold water, dark, cold water.
20 years ago, when you met Edgar, the Clares didn't run the Union yet, did they?
A sputter from the old man. He acknowledges it. Here we go. A twist behind the dark band.
Who did?
That bourgeois cow. Tiffin Holly was her name. Licked the rich man's hand every time he came to town. Never seen a labor leader so hot on mutual cooperation.
Okay, so he took care of her?
And money. She liked that too. That Holly was a real bridge builder and a deal maker.
His eyes glistened suddenly with hatred.
She was also a woman, wasn't she? Like that Classier.
She was. And she was real soft on those money men. Had a Barbara Muscova bag over her shoulder that she liked to bring to work.
And then she just disappeared.
Called in, they say. On the eve of battle. Ran away. Vanished like a piss stain.
He squints and smiles at the black locks. No, that's not quite it, is it?
They say her daughter called in, not her personally. But that wasn't really her daughter, was it?
No, I guess it was not.
You could swear you see the embers glow again under his eyes on the dust.
Edgar, someone make the call. Why is that, Mr. Dross?
She couldn't make the call herself.
Here it is, the bend in the river.
Why?
Because she was dead.
Just say nothing. Okay.
The cow caught a bullet in her right lung. Fell into the canal grasping her tit and drowned. Or bled. Hard to say. It was a sloppy job. And a
Wait.
moving target.
Didn't, what's his name? Doom Spiral or something like that. Didn't that guy tell a story about a woman who fell in a canal?
She was going home.
I think.
Waddling, dressed in yellow. Drunk like she often was. The ruins are black around her, and she had a yellow leather bag under her arm. She tried to cross the canal, heading home to Grand Couronne or Betancourt, someplace like that, where they build those new bâtiments for the people who flourish in the hell around her, and the ruins.
It was you.
Make a shooting motion, like a rifle.
It was someone. Someone shot her.
He shrugs. His eyes grow cold
Or
suddenly.
maybe she just fell. I get these violent ideations. My memory is filled with holes, especially the 30s. All I know is nothing changed. Not in the material base, not in the hegemony. There was no uprising. Just words. The Union fizzled, sogged. Nothing came of it. Nothing.
Edgar didn't keep his part of the deal.
A sputter again. Nothing more.
If you were to testify to this, give the RCM something on Edgar, you could work.
Huh. The lieutenant says in a voice even calmer, as if it were nothing at all.
We would strike everything you've done and process you as a POW.
Really?
You were in a war. You were on assignment. We could even extradite you to the Samaran People's Republic.
A degenerate worker state. Go shit. No, thank you. I'm Revacholian. My days are short. I will rot away here.
Of course.
In a moral intern cell. I will not testify to anything.
But you did do it.
I saw it happen, and I liked it. That's all I have to say. I didn't live and fight for 40 years to end up as a collaborationist. I've
Yeah,
heard
but
it on
like,
Channel 8,
do you
40
have to?
AM,
Do you need to?
Radio
I
Revachol,
mean, you basically
late
told
night.
us we can be like, hey, moral intern guys. Yeah, he did it.
Everyone is
So-
a blobber in this world. Everyone betrays everyone. They're all already locked up for betrayal. The best ones, the ones with heart, were slaughtered, trampled.
The blood-drenched Sucreant on her boat. What is a Sucreant?
Sucrion, a bloodsucker, the rich whore on our boat.
Oh, you mean Joyce.
Women like her feed on the life energy of young working class men, and they let her. I can't believe the inert lumpen out there. They just let her drive her little boat like that. No violence, not even a robbery. The working class has lost their appetite for justice.
His voice trails off in disappointment. If only he had the ammunition.
By the cock parading in his colorful uniform, you mean Renee?
Every fucking morning for 34 years. Throwing that ball. One ball against the other. I've always loathed that game.
I mean,
That is not a working class game. I don't care what they say on Radio June. Royalist ghouls.
I don't
play
think it
like was
really
life
falls
itself.
into any class.
Click, clack, across the water each day. And that uniform, like a parrot plumage. I won't even mention that he's a traitor to his race. A petank maniac, race traitor.
Now, I don't know about...
I remember him. I remember him from Lanos. Not him, personally. His make and model. There were tens of thousands of them. I thought we took them all out before the liberals came to their rescue. We missed one.
I guess so.
That one.
With a shaky finger, he points to the city, toward the crater near the plaza where a lonely pine tree
Fat
stands.
and plump, like a pheasant, just begging to be popped off. Please, Mr. Dross, shoot me.
You'd like to kill him?
Not yet. I like to look at him strut around, place the crosshair on his medals, right on his face, and just fiddle the trigger. Think about it. Let the bonbon melt in my mouth.
Save the treat for later.
He is a juicy bonbon, that one.
You don't know he's
Real
dead,
treat
though.
For the black day. The blackest. When I put that gun in my own mouth, I think, nah, don't waste it. Put this lead in that cock, Renee. For the boys he killed. And then I look at him throw those balls, and I suddenly feel better. I even hid one bullet, so I'd always have one for him. Haven't seen him around
Yeah.
lately.
No,
strutting
that's
around.
not the problem.
Must be down with arthritis. I hope it hurts like hell. I hope he sweats blood.
Bad arthritis, yes. He's not playing this week. Renee's dead. He died of old age a couple of days ago.
No,
Yes.
I waited too long. I waited too long, and now he's dead.
Yep,
I'm sorry. Mr.
missed that
Jones.
boat.
I understand you knew him for a long time.
They're all dead now. Fuck it.
If he really wanted to kill him so bad, he would have done. There must have been 1,000 black days on these islands. His health ailing.
You had 1,000 chances to kill him.
And I blew them all. What does it matter now? He's gone.
You cared about him?
All human beings care about each other. I cared for seeing his head explode. And now, God damn this world.
I'm sorry.
Fuck you.
The old communard says, staring at the ground, seemingly to the island you're on.
Are you okay, Mr. Droz, to go on?
You think I haven't seen people die? It's all I've seen them do. Fuck and die. All the other plans we had. To love. To colonize the Pale. It's all fucked.
It doesn't look like he is. Okay.
I'm glad we talked about this now.
Glad we talked about what?
Says his body language, composure. Let's see. I do have a ton of points. Let's see what this does. 72. Fuck. For a 60-year-old, a man with stomach trouble who spent his entire life alone on an uninhabited island, he seems surprisingly fit.
That's it?
Ah, but it is a white shack. Alright. Oh, come on. It doesn't work in the same... Ah, for fuck's sake. I just wasted a point. Yeah.
Glad we talked about what?
Oh, now I can do it again. He is... Now, what strikes you about this gaunt man is not the stomach pain, or the cough, or the malnutrition. It's precisely what you could not see before. For a man who spent 44 years hidden in the urban wild, he is surprisingly okay. Indeed, he speaks fluidly, his movements are rapid, if erratic. His voice, despite the cough, is there. It is capable of expressing complicated ideas. Above all, he seems animated.
Animated? By what?
It's a mystery. This animation comes at a cost, too. Erratic hand gestures, thought processes cut off like threads, as he just stares at the logs or the reeds. He also suffers mood swings, bubbling to the surface, unconstrained by his nervous system.
Dementia?
You've seen demented people before. This feels similar, yet different. When his thoughts move, they are lucid, keen even, not senile.
Mr. Droz, are you okay? How's your memory?
No, I'm not okay. I shit blood, and I'm surrounded by insane people.
There it is again, erratic and motions, bouts of rage, and a stomach thing too, of course.
Joseph Lilianovich Droz, you're under arrest for the murder of Alice Courtenaire.
What?
The old
you
man's...
said I would be taken to the...
To the... What did I say? The wind picks up. The silence on the water is broken all around you. Little shivers of waves appear. The lieutenant continues, like an incantation.
Your wayfarer rights have been suspended. Information provided to the officers on the scene will be used against you by the prosecution. You will be given legal counsel within 1 week and must face court in 44 days. Do you understand? Do you understand?
But...
Do you understand, sir?
No, I don't want to. I have to stay here.
He looks at the reeds, eyes submerged in growing terror. He's sweating. Beads are forming on his
Your
forehead.
confirmation is not required, sir. Now on to the boat.
Perception, hearing. Perception. I hope I'm not gonna regret... Well, is it a... It's a red check. Okay, I hope I'm not gonna regret spending 3 points like this. 72. Oh, fuck. You thought you heard something, but it's just the reeds.
Maybe we could all fit in there.
First say, does it have room for
Not
3?
really. We could escort him to the pier, then either one of us can take him inland while the other stays here.
But then, who watches him while you're coming back here?
Who watches him there while I come back for
you
you?
come back for me? How about I go and send a boat back for you?
What is this farce? This is a fucking farce. I can't.
You could, Liliane? You could ask her maybe.
Maybe I can just ask that nitpicker to watch him? Or we could all fit in a little boat?
Actually, no.
Alright.
This is no harmless old man.
The lieutenant shakes his head.
This fucking world. This world. What is this?
No, listen. Listen now. I tried, for fuck's sake.
You could come back for me once you've taken him to the precinct. I could come back for you once I've taken him to the precinct.
You can come back for
No,
me, I
no,
guess.
it would take a whole day on this island. You go and transport the prisoner. I'll be here. I can escort him to the pier with you.
No need to be polite. I'll do it.
This world. What are you talking about? Is this us?
Us? The wind is cold, from the east. Your skin is crawling suddenly. What's going on? Is there someone else here? Is that what I'm supposed to hear? What the fuck is that? Bro, it's a giant stick insect. A delicate tangle of arms and legs unfolds from the reeds, limb by limb, to then just stand there, moving its sight-like arms in ghostly silence.
What is that?
What are you talking about?
The old man looks at the reeds, then at you.
The giant stick insect.
There's nothing there.
He looks confused. Insulinian phasmid, yo! We finally found it. The stick insect is over 3 meters tall. It looks straight at you with its tiny pinprick eyes and its grotesquely small head.
There is. I see it.
Tell me what you see, damn it. I can't make out one small thing in the reeds.
Kim, can you see it?
I can see it.
Yes. 4 simple words. Thank God. If you can see, then you're not insane. But that means it's really there, spinning slowly in absolute silence, its limbs long and slender.
Very, very careful.
The lieutenant whispers, then takes a step toward the giant arthropod. I mean, how much longer is this gonna go on? Because I have reached my time limit. Let's see. The creature stands on long stilt-like legs, antennae hanging from its head like a woman's hair, white and curled at the tips. It is no more than 5 steps away from you. Ooh, very high. Reed-like tufts stick out of its joints. As the insect moves its forearms, it produces a faint hiss, like a reel-to-reel machine spinning after the tape breaks.
This is the Insulinian phasmid.
Say something to it quietly, something like, Lena's childhood experience, the miracle, way out in the west. Ah, this is the miracle. Lay the pheromone on thick. Yeah, approach carefully. Cool. Hey, slowly, with your breath held, you take 2 small steps toward the phasmid. The creature lets out a series of ultrasonic clicks that swarm around your head like swallows. Sweat drips from your brow, soaking your chest. You reek of it, your chemicals. The tracheal system on the creature's abdomen expands in front of you to take in and expel air. It's smelling you. Hissing and clicking, it extends its mandible-like antennae to greet you. You're right below it now, looking up at the colossal chitin of its white limbs. The head of the creature is crowned by reeds and its eyes are like small droplets of water.
It's smelling me.
Raise your hand slowly.
Hello, I'm Harry. I don't really know who I am.
Okay, Kim, take the picture.
Okay.
What, really? Bruh. That might upset it, though. With a slow ring of metal, the lieutenant slides the lens open and raises it to eye level. There is no change in the insect's motion while it's being aimed by the camera. It remains fixated on you.
In 3. If it moves, you jump back. I'll shoot. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Hey, there it is. Cool. The shrill flash of the camera cuts the air like the blade of a sword. The phasmid freezes in its bright light, head turned toward the lieutenant. Hypnotized by the flash, it stands frozen before you.
I got it.
You hear the lieutenant's whisper as the creature's shape develops onto photo paper in his hand, a polychrome ghost of white streaks against the reeds and the sky, and you as a shadow before it. Carefully pat its scythe-like forearm. Slowly reach out and touch the creature's whisker. The antennae hang from a great height. With your hand shaking, you barely touch the tip of the left whisker. On contact, the chitin curls into a spiral, like the tip of a poison ivy. Its touch on your fingertip feels cold, ticklish. It is surprisingly delicate, the curly end of the whisker, like a young vine. It's even a bit wet.
Be careful, detective. It's moving.
Look at your finger. You were right. It glistens with some kind of moisture. The creature in front of you stays frozen. Lick your finger. It tastes like sugar. Very faint. The arthropod towers above you. Tufts of reeds pointing from limb and head alike. Odorless, mostly comprised of water. Carefully pat its forearm. The limb before you is incredibly light, like eggshell. It's much lighter than a reed. You feel a soft push could tip the creature over, its hollow exoskeleton collapsing. Warning! Run your hand up the slender limb, higher. Well, no, if it's a warning, pull your hand away. A sudden shiver passes the limb. Looks like the creature is awakening, wave by wave, from its stupor. Some sort of countdown process is happening. That's all you have time to think.
We got it.
Another shudder pulses through the creature's limbs. It jolts back to life, like a record continuing where it left off, in a swaying, praying motion. Even the small black pearls of its eyes do not stray from you.
It's smelling me.
Maybe it is real. The pheromone.
The lieutenant's mouth is agape.
About now he is ready to believe in anything.
The insect's head is crowned with reed-like scales, the shape of seed heads. They rustle as the air moves. The ventricles at its abdomen continue to expanding like lunglets, breathing you in, your sour, greasy semiochemicals on the breeze. Raise your hand slowly. The insect stops its stridulation, seeming to observe you. Below its crown of reeds, little pinprick eyes detect motion, glittering. Thus, the world stands still around you. Suddenly, there is silence. Raise the other hand too. As you do, the invertebrate comes to life, its limbs moving independent of each other, as if each has a mind of its own. They are white like stalks of porcelain, knitting above you, praying to you.
That's right, pray.
Put your hands down.
Don't pray to me, I'm nothing.
The reed creature does not stop its stridulations. It towers above you, parting the reeds it emerged from. Tuft-like structure still rustle on its joints.
Hello, I'm Harry.
No reply. A total ancient silence comes from its mouth, along with what appears to be some kind of foam. The stridulations of its limbs continue all around you. Stand on your tiptoes and look more closely. You were right. Little bubbles form on the mouthparts of the creature, on its segmented lower lip. It looks to be foaming, slowly. The foam is white, then yellowish. The faintest smell, like you've never felt before, like burnt roses.
Kim, it's foaming.
Careful. It may be poisonous.
The lieutenant watches you apprehensively. The foam slowly turns a darker shade, like burnt caramel, as the insect moves its mouthparts, masticating. The little bubbles begin to burst. one by one, letting out the same smell like summer burning. Tell me, what are you doing? Spoke to the hanged man, did not give up on Phasmid, tasted it, knows of parthenogenesis. Yes!
I exist.
Well, I exist too.
I'm a detective. Is this a dream? What is happening? What exactly are you? I exist too.
Tell me what it's like for you.
Fire. Burning. It's wunderbar. I'm ill. If I tell you, what will happen? I guess fire. Burning.
Fire? Where?
In the city. All around. It's going down. On the horizon. Pale fire. This thing we're both sensing is coming to an end.
No, inside. I do not have fire inside me. In me there is not even blood, but lymph, like sap from a wine palm. Now I will tell you what it's like for me. For me, it is a series of half-lit images, a kind of darkness, being intruded upon, transient, dim, moist.
Intruded upon? By what?
Shapes of plants and animals, and internal sensations, a swarm of sounds, tiny vibrations on the inside of my forearms, all speak of complexities totally beyond my understanding. I am at the end of a narrow funnel, weightless, so light it only feels like something to be me. In truth, perhaps I'm nothing? I certainly do not have a soul, and if I did, it would never burn.
You're the type of animal I would like to be. I'm glad to be me, an incredibly sensitive instrument. The fuck is happening to me right now? I guess I'm glad to be me.
Few of us can begin to imagine the horror of you, with all of creation reflected in your forebrain. It must be like the highest of hells, a kaleidoscope of fire and writhen glass. Eternal damnation. Writhing, actually, glass. Even when you're sleeping, and when you wake, you carry it around on your neck, with eyes open that cannot help but swallow more behind the mirror. I feel great, mute empathy for you.
It's how I changed my mind. It was very disorienting at first, but I'm keeping my shit together. Kinda.
That must be incredibly hard. The arthropods are in silent and meaningless awe of you. Know that we are watching. When you're tired, when the vision spins out of control, the insects will be looking on, rooting for you. And when you fall, we will come to raise you up, bud from you, banner-like, blossom from you, and carry you apart in a sky funeral, in honor of your passing. But not me, because I'm just a leaf eater.
I'm a detective.
So am I. I was born to detect sucrose rewards and semiochemicals. What were you born to detect?
The killer?
He is in a bad state, deteriorating fast now. He thinks I am beneficial to him, but I am not. I only quicken his deterioration.
You're destroying him?
Very slowly, and only because he won't go away. It is meant to keep them from noticing me, to interfere with the pictures in their heads. But he has looked at me too long, and I'm destroying him.
Is this a dream? What is happening?
No, you are awake. I am real. Light is forming me. This is real.
Where does this come from? All this? Around us? The world?
Not even the birds know that. Not even the water lilies.
We need to know. Perhaps it's sent to us by a god? Then all we can do is beat our fists against it? Then let's see, perhaps it's sent to us by a god?
I think we should eat it. If it's a leaf, you can put it meat in your mouth, or a reed. Yum yum. Wait, so
So you look like a reed and you eat reeds?
yes, they don't mind.
Have you accidentally eaten another reed fast meat?
Yes, I once cloned myself and ate the little ones. It was winter and I woke up at the wrong time. It was an accident.
What exactly are you?
I am an unknown species of the order Phantasmodea, endemic to the Insulindian Isola. For the last 350 years, I have hidden in plain sight, masquerading as the reeds, molding, cloning myself, unfolding at night to play with trash bins and boys. I went unnoticed by the first settlers and the land surveyors of the suzerain. Also, by the soldiers of the revolution and the officials of the occupation. Even the Seminese islanders, who came here first but did not stay, have not seen me. I have stayed hidden through 4 forms of government and 2 scientific revolutions, until I was accidentally discovered by a detective of the citizen militia in Ravachol, district of Martinez, March 51st.
Are you the miracle?
No, you are the miracle.
How?
The moral of our encounter is, I am a relatively median life form, while you are extreme, all-engulfing madness, a volatile simian's nervous system, ominously new to the planet. The Pale, too, came with you. No one remembers it before you. The Cnidarians do not. The radially symmetricals do not. There is an almost unanimous agreement between the birds and the plants that you are going to destroy us all.
I don't have that kind of power.
You are a violent and irrepressible miracle. The vacuum of cosmos and the stars burning in it are afraid of you. Given enough time, you would wipe us all out and replace us with nothing, just by accident.
How?
We suspect it will be something like the oxygen holocaust that wiped out the anaerobic life 2.6 billion years ago. When organisms first started breathing, only much worse. Instead of air, you exhale thoughts. There are no trees that eat thoughts.
Worse? How?
Everything your eyes touch goes back there, behind the nerve mirror. What if you blink? Are we still here? Please don't blink. What if you misplace us all one day? Or just forget? Blink, quick.
Have I always thought this way?
No, you're only thinking it now. This is a revelation.
But I want to blink and undo 12 billion years of matter expansion. I've already forgotten the whole world once when I drank too much. I will be extra careful not to blink, stick insect. Don't worry.
Please be, or one day one of you will close your eyes and open them to see that none of this ever existed.
Kim, am I having a violent epileptic seizure?
It doesn't look like that, no.
What does it look like?
You're just staring at it.
Then I think I'm having a vision about the final fate of mankind.
Okay. Is it somehow related to the case?
No, I told you what it's about, our fate. The case is meaningless compared to this. I have totally transcended the case.
I mean, sort of.
I think you should back away from the unstudied species now.
I have to say goodbye now. I have no more thoughts. That was all.
No, there is one more.
Of all the creatures I've met, you are the kindest, the scariest, the most beautiful.
I mean, I guess the kindest. Thank you. I also have one more thing to say to you before you go. The woman, turn from the ruin. Turn and go forward for all mankind. Man, I mean, why is she so dangerous? I don't understand.
What woman?
You cannot lie to me. Behind you it smells of fires. So awfully far you were prepared to go in her presence. And it.
I will try.
She was hell on earth. It doesn't take a 3-meter stick insect to tell you that.
Disengage slowly.
As you're turning away, the phasmid mirrors your movements. Stepping on the water, the long limbs carry its feather weight without breaking its surface. And he disappears into the night. Well, it's not night, but... And just like that, it's gone, skating away across the sea's calm mirror like a skipping stone, leaving nothing but circles on the water. And something under it, in the place it stood, bobbing there, among the reeds, a collection of items.
It's gone.
The lieutenant looks north with his hands raised, his brow.
You can walk on water?
Apparently, yes. Like a water strider. Only... I've never seen anything like that in my life.
What's that in the reeds?
Looks like a nest of some sort. We should have a look.
What now?
What now?
The old man behind you repeats suddenly. He's put his hand into the ash. It's dirty and black.
Our suspect is not looking so good. We need to check on him.
I mean, yeah, and I have to check the stuff over here. Yeah, as much as I would like to continue, it's really, really late, so I will save the game, and I'll see you all next time for the conclusion, because I mean, I'm guessing if they really wanted to stretch it, it could be another couple of hours, but nothing more than that. So thank you everybody for having followed me thus far. I have been Loaf Dog, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.